record button, and we'll just get started here. But obviously tonight we're beginning a series. We just wrapped up, when it comes to business development, we just wrapped up what we call the 5 circles of influence, which is a process of organizing and nurturing your contacts into their highest and best forms. So oftentimes in the world of network, people amass digital contact, and one of those ways that they do that is social media. And when they amass this digital contact, they don't keep in touch, they don't follow up, they don't organize. And if you're not doing that, it's impossible to align effort and energy. Now, you're going to hear this term a lot if you attend our webinars regularly, but when we talk about aligning effort and energy, that's what it really means to create a thriving tribe versus just a network. And the alignment of effort and energy cannot happen without facilitating really, where and who your contacts are and where you put them and how you nurture them to create the highest and best. So we just wrapped up that series, and now we're going to begin one on social media. Chances are the things that we talk about here are going to be very different than from what you've learned. We're not going too deep on these webinars because we don't have too much time, but we are going to go maybe the opposite direction of what's common. And that's really what it takes to be successful in business development. If you look at the world today and the way things are structured, all you have to do to win is look at what everyone else is doing and go the other way, because there's so much noise created by common thought. So to get away from the noise and create great results, whatever that means to you, and we're not assuming we know what that means to you, but to create great results, you almost have to look the other way and go that direction. So tonight we're going to just talk about Facebook specifically. I've turned, I don't have a huge Facebook presence. I haven't needed one. But I've turned Facebook into money. I've turned it into gold. I've turned it into influence, into speaking engagements, into requests for books. I've turned it into, different client opportunities. It's monetized for me greatly, and I've also used it to keep in touch with friends and family and that kind of thing. So as many things as I may not be positive about Facebook, I have to admire how powerful the platform is, and it would serve all of us to just recognize that. It's the single largest and most powerful platform on planet Earth for social media, with over 2 billion people on the scene. It doesn't mean that another platform isn't more popular. Instagram is doing its thing, and other platforms, and you younger people probably know even better than I do what's hot and what's trending. But here's the point. These platforms have an agenda. Facebook wants you to behave in a certain way. Instagram wants you to behave in a certain way. And everything they build is to get you to behave that way. Okay? It doesn't mean that they're not providing value to you at the same time. Of course, as a good company, that's what they want to do. But you have to understand that most people tend to fall into what I call digital slumber, and they don't wake up to become conscious about how to make the platform work best for them. So whatever you've heard in the way of best practices, whatever you've seen to be common, and this is what everyone else is doing, here's what I can tell you everyone else is not doing. Not very many people, meaning the masses by far, are truly monetizing or converting their social media activity into what they really want. They're usually spending time or enjoying time. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a waste, but they're spending time or enjoying time or wasting time doing what the platform wants them to do. What we want to talk about when we're talking about mastering business development is we want to talk about utilizing it for its highest and best use. Okay, so let's get into that and just take a look at what that might look like. First of all, like we talked about, Facebook is the largest and most powerful tool, just not the way most people use it. So when it comes to Facebook, what comes first, influence or engagement? So just give some thought to that for a second. Feel free to comment if you like. You know, you can unmute, you can send a message in the chat. If you look at the drop down, you simply just go over to where it says more, the 3 dots, and hit the chat. There you go. I think someone just dropped some engagement is everything. Andrew, great. So Andrew just left a comment in the chat so we can talk about it. And that's probably the easiest way to have a conversation. But engagement is everything. So let's take a look at this, okay? What comes first, influence or engagement? Influence, people are responding to you. Engagement, you are responding to people. Now that might be different than what you've been taught or what you've learned, but I need to frame this in a way that your activity and habit shifts a little bit, because I can take a small group of people on social media. So I'm not Tony Robbins on social media, but my small group of people will become extremely powerful and productive because of the way I engage them. Okay, so engagement is you responding to people, and influence is people responding to you. So engagement comes first, and then influence. So here are a couple thoughts that might agree with you, or they might even contradict your current paradigm a little bit, but I want to explain them, okay? Number one, obviously, be present during your allocated times. So what do I mean by allocated times? It is really, really good to time block if we're talking business development. Now, if you're sitting in the airport and you want to jump on Facebook or Instagram, you know, do what you're going to do. But what we teach in the business development program, in the mastery program, is to time block for certain activities and habits that you're going to apply on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, to expand your tribe and get it to thrive. And so be present during your allocated time. So if you set aside 15 minutes to get on social media and make it productive, then be there for that full 15 minutes. Maximize your 5,000 friends. I'm at like 3,400 and I'm actually working to get to 5,000. Now, why would you do that? Well, a lot of people are in the mentality, well, I use Facebook for social, for my friends and my family. That's great for that, and you can still do that. But after you get past those 20 or 30 people that you really, really, truly care about, the other 4,970 people that you can actually have a direct line of communication to on an instant messaging basis, it's so important that if you want to grow a thriving tribe, that you maximize every ounce of that. I'm actually diligently working to get to 5,000 friends. 4992 as of today. Great job, Tyrell. And then here's the kicker. Instant message, each one of them. Man, I sent out yesterday. I didn't do it today, and that's a flaw in my activity and habit today. I chose some other priorities, but yesterday I sent out about 100 instant messages to people on Facebook that I never speak with. Of that, I got probably 20 responses. And of the 20 responses, in conversation with all 20, I booked meetings out of it, and I have people that are interested in me, and I'm interested in them. And those 20 people, consequently, people that were never paying attention to my posts are now paying attention to my post, because I went past the digital placeholder to actually create some type of human connection with them. And then keep the ones that engage and delete the ones that don't. You go, man, Brett, that sounds so cold. If someone does not want to engage me in any way, why would I tie them up when they don't need to see my news feed if they're not interested in me. They don't need to, if they don't want to have a real conversation or enter into some type of connection, why would we kid ourselves in creating this digital placeholder that means absolutely nothing? Now, I don't do it in a mean way. I just go, well, I only have 5,000 opportunities. So once you hit that 5,000, they don't allow you to have any more. What would your life look like if you had 5,000, if you didn't use any other program, you just use Facebook? but you had 5,000 people that you have had conversation with, that you know what's important, that you brought them from Facebook into your own database where you can nurture them as a human being. Now, we're not talking about wasting time on social media. We're talking about building a financial future for yourself. We're talking about business development. We're talking about mastering business development. Your habits on Facebook can be whatever you want them to be. But if you want to maximize it for business development, then maximize every moment and every opportunity. And that's going to be key for you. So 5,000 golden opportunities, take advantage of every one. So personal profile, you can have 5,000 friends, right? And your personal profile should obviously be, somewhat personal. I have to admit, it's a flaw of mine. I'm very business oriented, very serious, I'm fun, but I have to remind myself to have fun because I'm very strategic. So I'll stay in that mode. So my profile isn't as fun as many of your profiles. So some of you have an advantage over me in that. So make sure that your personal profile is rocking, it's personal, and people want to engage it. I get decent engagement for what it is, but the real gold comes from behind the scenes. And then business profile. So I don't know, I've got like 2,500 followers or something on my business profile. And a lot of that I built back when I was speaking, but I'm adding people to it now. And I use that specifically to post my events, excerpts from my book, different things like that that are going to be coming out. And you want to do the same. It's more appropriate to put your business content on your business page, but use the two synergistically back and forth, okay? All right, I want to stop there and take any questions or thoughts, and then we'll continue on. Anybody? No?
Just when you do events, Brett, do you direct people to your personal or your business page, or is it kind of a mix and mingle?
You can invite people, but Facebook keeps jacking around the amount of people you can invite. You always create an event on your business page.
Right.
And then you've got 3 different options to share it or invite or send it in Messenger, right?
Right.
And they allow you so many, you can share unlimited, but they'll allow you so many invites. Now, I was getting like 500-600 people I could invite. Recently, I think they changed it and reduced it to 50. And okay. Probably because they want us boosting posts more.
Probably.
Yeah, so which is cool. It's their business, their model. One of the things to always keep in mind, it's a great example of, is remember, they're always in control. So you can build a strategy just around Facebook, just like many people did on Google. And then when Google changed their algorithm and made mobile one of the key factors to ranking, it actually put businesses out of business. So you got to stay with it to understand that, hey, at a moment's notice, the program can change. Okay.
Fair point. All right. Yeah, I noticed when I get up to because I've crossed the 5,000 mark multiple times, and thankfully, folks, they discern and they tune out and create a little bit of space there. I created another personal page to field, the couple hundred more that spilled over beyond the 5,000. But I was curious about your strategy and philosophy that you're currently applying.
Well, that's a great question. I'm really happy you mentioned that. I'm going to get through a couple more points, and then I'm going to go back to that. And it's all about influence, okay? Because influence is what we're really after. It's not the numbers, it's the quality of the numbers. And so, on my personal profile, I'll share from Shaper a quote like this, but I always add my own thoughts. Sometimes I'm in agreement with the quote, sometimes I might contradict it. So in this one, the quote was, "What we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do." So I thought about this all day. Sometimes I'm sure it is appropriate. However, I have witnessed that we give way too much credit to fear. I think more people suffer from lazy than they do fear. I'm not afraid of working out, but it tends to get in the way of eating chocolate and relaxing. I'm not afraid of winning in business, but it sometimes gets in the way of me being complacent. I'm not afraid of serving people, but it often gets in the way of my selfishness. I would say lazy has fear beat hands down, but fear is much easier to blame. So I put that kind of stuff out there, and believe it or not, you know, it doesn't get as much attention as, you know, a puppy dog or a kitty cat, but it gets 17 likes and some shares and comments, but I actually got phone calls and conversations and business.
I believe it. It's involvement versus, you know, kinds of engagement. But I missed the first part. Did you have a slide of the definitions of involvement versus engagement?
Yeah, I'll go back to that and I'll share that with you at the end.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. So my business page, post daily, share blog, events, insights, become the trusted advisor. Guys, I can't even tell you, it's not my social media that is giving me my life, okay? What's happening is it's confirming for people, it's social proof. It's confirming for people. I met with a gal the other day and she goes, oh my God, I mean, I'm a goofball, guys. When you get to know me, you're gonna realize Brett's just a simple guy, he's a goofball, blah, blah, blah. But I meet with this gal and she goes, I'm so surprised that you could take time to meet with me. I didn't even know that you lived in the area. And I knew some people in Macedonia that spoke so highly of you. There was a bunch of people that saw me on speaking to her a while back. And so she had heard of me there. And then she goes, but your social media is always so positive and valuable. Even if they don't engage it, they're watching it. They're just not taking a step. But when I actually call somebody or meet with somebody, my social media is verifying me to them even when I'm not around. And so that's a huge part of what we're really wanting to accomplish here. Yeah, social capital, social influence, the whole works. So engagement, make it all about them. Let's take a look at some real examples here. Laura just liked my page. Thank you, Laura, for liking my page. I'm going to check out Pure Patio and learn more so I can be supportive. Thank you, Brett. My pleasure. I'll stop by and take a look soon. Thank you. Come in and see me. I definitely will. Down that message, we ended up booking a time to get together. Next one. This was a gal I met at an event. Then we met one-on-one for coffee and then back to social media. Good morning, happy Thankful Thursday. Good morning, happy Thursday to you. I totally forgot to ask, once I have my list done, what should I do next? What does this question mean? What should I do next? What does that mean to you?
That means that they're trusting you. And
I'm the authority.
Yep.
Right? I'm now the trusted advisor. If you like, let me take a look at the list. Then you want to take the first item and knock it out of the park. In person or email? Let's start with email. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Hi, Don, I hope you're doing fantastic. This is a message to someone that I send when I have a friendship on Facebook that I never speak to, okay? Hi, Don, I hope you're doing fantastic. I need to do a better job of being more than a digital placeholder. I'm grateful for the friendship on Facebook. Is there anything I could do to be more valuable to you? Cheers. Now, I sent this out 100 times and 20 people responded. I wish I could have put all the responses here, but, and this is something I do on a regular basis. Dawn and I have now had 2 conversations. We're connection now for sure, and a good chance that we'll have a long-lasting relationship even at distance. She's in New Jersey, okay? But anyway, she says, hello, Brett, was away in the city all day. I appreciate your posts. I get this all the time. I appreciate your posts because they're always positive. I never post a negative thing ever, okay? And I don't do anything biased. And you go, well, it's freedom of speech. It's also freedom of repelling people, right? You know, you can have freedom of speech, but you also realize that's a freedom to repel people too. Now, if your goal is to build a thriving tribe, you want to attract, not repel. If you want to have conversations that are offensive, do them in your hot tub with your closest friends. Now, I'm not saying you can't have them on social media because I'm not in control of what you do. I'm just saying that if you want the outcome of Thriving Tribe, you've got to be positive. You got to be a force that people want to be around. Here's another one. Listen to this. This is a little bit deeper. I engaged a post. A guy challenged me on something I put on social media, and I answered him in love like I always do. Hello, Brad. I don't know you personally, but I saw your post about Ilchi Lee's. I've decided to live 120 years. As I read through the comments, I was impressed at your positive replies to some less than positive comments. That's very nice to see. Since then, Matt and I have met in Sedona. We had a great talk. Matt's a very good candidate to become part of the BizDev Pro program, and we're working on that, regardless of whether he does or doesn't. We're now in a real relationship. And so that's what social media is to me. Here's another one. In my 100 messages I sent out, hey man, thinking of you, how are you? Hey brother, I was thinking of you too recently. I'm doing well. I took a trip, blah, blah, blah. Super focused on cookies. By the way, this is the owner of Tenderheart Cookies. He's a dear friend of mine, and I was with him when he got started. Best cookies on earth, by the way, vegan. And I just received news from Natural Grocers. They have requested samples for review at the corporate office. This is amazing. This guy was in some of our early meetings and hadn't even started his company yet. And I haven't seen him in a while, but I'm just reaching out to say hello. And his life is advancing at a rapid pace. And it's really cool to be part of that in some way. So staying connected. So here's the philosophy, and I'll wrap up, and then we'll have some convo about this. Man, there's never enough time. Okay. This is the secret to all of it, and why I use Facebook and LinkedIn and Shaper more than anything, okay? All I really want to do is get to the instant message. I don't care what Facebook is doing. I don't care what Instagram is doing and how amazing they are. They're truly amazing. And what everyone else is doing to make it look amazing on there. But I can tell you that very few people turn all of that activity into something productive. What these platforms are to me is an opportunity, and I write this in my book, The New Sales Paradigm, Thriving Tribes. Make no mistake about it, on the other end of technology is a human being that has wants, needs, and desires, and thoughts, feelings, and emotions. The technology is just the bridge to them. If you already know that that is the end objective, then why waste time with all the fluff in the middle? Go right to the conversation. Get on instant messaging and message people and just say, look, I just read your profile. It looks like you're up to some interesting things. I'd love to get to know you and see how you and I can create the highest and best. It doesn't matter, whatever your objective is. If you were in the dating world and you wanted to date, send 1,000 messages to people you'd like to date. By the time you're done with 1,000 messages, I bet you've got 100 opportunities. That might be a little bit, off the charts here, but still you could do that, right? But you don't need to beat around the bush to get right to making life happen right now. Now, when you do this, it's called engagement. And you can do it in their feed. You can do it with their posts. You can do it with their information. You can pay attention to people. If you want friendship, give friendship. If you want love, give love. If you want support, give support. If you want attention, give attention. If you want engagement, give engagement. But as you give this engagement, the best way I've found to do it is to go behind the scenes, go directly to the person, and find out who's really awake and who's in digital slumber. Digital slumber is the person that will ignore your messages. They're just there to do whatever, okay? Someone who's awake and who's possibly part of your tribe will engage your message, and now, lo and behold, that you've done that, they're gonna start paying attention to your post. Why? Because you're no longer just a digital placeholder to them. You're something real. You made them important, and they're learning from you how to make you important. Does that make sense?
Totally.
All right.
Brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Good stuff.
Good, good, good. Guys, we're going to be wrapping up here in a few minutes. So any comments or questions or thoughts that you want to get out, maybe throw something in the chat or just go ahead and speak it out. But as we wrap up here in the next few minutes, any questions we can answer. All right.
Could I get that engagement versus involvement slide again, Brett?
Yeah.
There we go. Wait a minute.
Okay, here I go. Boom, 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 boom. Influence. People are responding to you. Let me give you the definition of influence, okay? And this is, listen, I know we're going to go over like 2 minutes here, but it's important I share this. I want to define influence for you. This is Brett's definition. You might hear a different one somewhere else. This is just mine. And you know where I got it from? I got it from observing life and what I wanted influence to be for me, okay? What I wanted is I wanted people to listen to what I said. I wanted them to act on what I said. I wanted them to tell other people what I say and get them to act on what I say. That's influence. And I realized that if I could do that, I had a currency, a capital, and I could spend that capital for the things that I wanted in life. If you have influence, you have capital, and it's spendable, okay? You can spend it to get people to your events. You can spend it to get people to pay attention. You can spend it to grow your company. The key to influence is engagement. And when I say engagement, it's not people responding to you. It's you, because you can't control that. The only thing you can control is you interacting with them and creating the highest and best outcome. Influence comes from you giving, serving, and caring about the other person enough to discover the highest and best outcome. It comes in different forms with different people. You can't have relationship with everyone. You can't be in friendship with everyone. You know, between Tom and I and Tom's database and my database, we have like 5 million people. How are we going to be friends with 5 million people? But there's a way that we can learn from those 5 million and what they want and what's important to them and deliver to them through technology, through platforms, right? So influence is generated by engaging other people and helping them to get what they want. And in order to do that, you need to ask them what that is, okay? That's very, very important.
Hey, Brett, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, man. So one of my things about the chat is some of my friends, I'm 25. A lot of my network is under 40. So getting them to go from Messenger on chat, instant messaging, to a telephone call to really connect with them, how much of your contact, when you are in the process of going from contacting someone to making true connection with them, do you always book a phone call, or do you just do it over Messenger sometimes, completely there through the audio messages and stuff, or do you have to get them on the phone?
No, that's a great point, brother. I think that it's, I mean, you guys will know better. I'm 48 years old, man. So I'm old school. I like to be on the phone. I like to be on Zoom. If you can do it another way and create the same connection, by all means. But what the differentiator for me is in messaging, there is this natural order of things. Like all of a sudden I'm instant messaging somebody and it's almost as if all the planets align and we go, you know what? We need to get on a call. And when that happens, that's when I book a call. And so if they want to just do it over, I've closed business over messages. I've closed business within 5 messages. And I've been a customer to other people within 5 messages. But the highest and best form of trust we can build is when we move it off of digital and onto something a little more real. And the more real it gets, the deeper the relationship can go.
Makes perfect sense. Appreciate it.
So you always test and measure, right? So Andrew, test and measure. If it's giving you the result you want, stick with it. One of the things I pride the BDP program in is saying, look, we're not fixed minded. I can only tell you what I've done to create what I've created, and we're going to keep learning as we go and keep evolving. So always be mindful to test and measure and be aware in the present moment of what is working best and creating the best outcome, not only for you, but for them and for the tribe. Cool? Man, you guys are all so good. You stayed on. Even though we're 4 minutes over, my apologies for that. It's a pleasure. We'll be back next week, and we're going to get into Shaper next week. Shaper is just, man, I can't say enough praise about Shaper and what it will allow you to do.
Hey,
So,
I didn't mean to cut you off, but Shaper is just absolutely phenomenal.
yeah, it's is that you, Mason?
Yes, sir, that is.
Yeah, you got it, brother.
I've made so many contacts and solid, meaningful contacts through Shaper.
Shaper is like, it cuts through all the noise to get right into the conversation because they created the culture for it. Facebook didn't create the culture, guys, for you to get into the conversation. They were looking to monetize a massive database through ads, through boosting posts. Nothing wrong with it. It's just that that was their model. Shaper, their culture was to get you to go have coffee with somebody, to get you to pair with somebody that you could have a meaningful conversation. So we're going to cover that next week, and how literally if you just took these two programs, you would never need to look for business again. In fact, you don't even need to do everything we're saying to never need to look for business again. But if you do what you do well, if you're a good steward of these things, then your life and business are going to expand at an exponential rate. And that's what we want to help you achieve here. So guys, I am so grateful you were on. Next week, we'll be back 5:30 p.m. Arizona time. So wherever you're at, I know that's a different time zone. Feel free to invite people. It's always free. This obviously, the BizDev Pro program is a program that is all about business development mastery, but we never really sell that on here. So people can join and get the tips and hopefully go out and make their life and business a little bit better. So again, with that, thanks for being on, and we'll look forward to next week.
Looking forward to next week as well. Hi, Brett.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Everybody.
Amazing as always. I just wanted to share with this group, applying these principles is bringing in $65K this month, and that's never happened before. So really looking forward to that coming through. So
Awesome, man. Good job.
Congrats, Tyrell. Congrats.
Is that Tyrell?
thanks, everybody. I just wanted to share that as, I don't know if money's a motivator for you, but it sure is for me, especially when we get it sorted out.
I love it. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.